Hello, I'm going to give you a quick lesson on how to set up peer grading within the Moodle structure at NC State University. First of all, peer grading can actually be quite useful. In these era of declining TA resources, it can enable you to more cost effectively do your grading. In addition, students actually appreciate seeing other people's work and learning from that work. And in fact, the right amount of peer grading, even from the student's perspective, is seen as highly beneficial. So what I'm going to do here is I have this homework 3 as part of this module. Right now I've got this turn-in page that traditionally would be graded by the instructional team. But instead I'm going to turn this into a peer-graded homework. I click on Add Activity or Resource. And what I'm looking for here is the workshop module with this little instructor and pointer next to it, the workshop module. Click on the workshop module, add the workshop module. And this workshop module is used for both turn-in and peer grading of homework 3. I don't feel I need any other description. What I want here, of course, is the students to assess the work of others. So I am going to allow that. And then I usually also let students assess their own work so that they can, after they've viewed others, they're going to give themselves 100, but that's actually okay. There's 2 grades here. One is a grade they get for submitting the homework. This is what the homework is originally out of. And give this 100. And this is the grade for actually doing the assessment. And I give some small amount of grade for actually doing the assessment of others. Submission instructions, you'll see where this is in a moment. But I'm just going to put submit electronically here as one file. That's really the only instruction that's needed by the due date. I only want one file, so one attachment, and I'll just default this as the size. I'm not going to allow late submissions. Assessment settings. This is the instructions for the assessment. And what I do is put a rubric in the homework itself. So C, grading rubric in homework description. That tells the graders, which of course are the students, how to grade the homework. Access control. Make sure this is open. You might need to click up here on the advance. So what I'm going to do is set the submissions deadline here, which in this case is the 29th of January. At 5 minutes before midnight. I have a very regular schedule. Every week something is due 5 minutes before midnight in my Moodle class. I have had the habit of clicking on switch to the next assessment. That's the assessment phase after the submissions deadline. But you actually will have to do this manually yourself. But I've tended to do both. I usually give a week for doing the assessments. Again, 5 minutes before midnight. Keep up a very regular schedule here. Don't do groups, so don't restrict access. So now I'm going to save and display. Didn't like that I didn't have a workshop description. So I'm going to put in some sort of description so that's highlighted. So this time I hit save and return a course. Return a course, you'll see down here, turn in and peer grading of homework 3. That will be moved up here. I use a little bit of indentation to show where things are. And I'm going to hide, by clicking on this eye, hide the previous turn in instructions. Now, this is what happens. It's broken into three phases: the submission phase, the assessment phase, and the grading evaluation phase. We're currently in the submission phase. What happens is, if I went to the student view, switch my role to student, you'll see submit your work. And this is what the student submits on to submit his or her work with this deadline. But you'll mention what you see as the instructor, so I'll switch my role back to the normal role. So what happens is, after they're submitted, I go in and manually set up the scheduled allocation. You can allocate students individually by groups to grade each other's work. This is a large class. I can't afford the time to do that. So random allocation. For something like a homework, I'm going to do 3. That is, each student will review 3 others' work. I generally make it so that you have to have submitted something you have to have submitted something in order to be a reviewer. The reason for this is students drop the class without officially dropping us. You don't want to hound down reviewers. That's a big pain. So only active participants will be reviewers. I also add in self-assessments. I could go either way on this, but currently that's what I'm doing. And what I would do is save those changes. Now, you actually have to do this after they're submitted. So in this case, nothing was done because there's no homework submitted. So I'm just illustrating you how to do that. So that is what you do after the homework submitted to allow people to see what they're responsible for peer grading. There's a third phase after this. I give a week for these to happen. And then there's a third phase that can be conducted. And that's the grading assessment evaluation phase, which actually works out people's gradings. As you can see, I can't even click on this yet to show you how to do it, but it's fairly self-explanatory. Basically, you click on calculate submission grades, and you'll get the after the assessment phase is over, and you will get the calculated averages of the grades. And that's all I do, is a simple average of the review grades. My understanding is that if someone doesn't do a review, they don't get 0, they just get an average out of the submitted reviews. Well, I hope you find this workshop module useful. I found in my past use of it that it does work fairly well, though like many things in Moodle, there's a number of steps and you have to have some understanding what's going on underneath. And also have found, again, the students actually get value out of looking at the work of their peers. Thank you very much for your time and attention.